Eevee has always felt like a gentle mystery in the Pokemon world, a small creature with wide eyes and soft fur that somehow carries within it the potential for countless different futures. Unlike other Pokemon that follow a predictable evolutionary path, Eevee exists in a state of beautiful possibility, a kind of living fork in the road of evolution. Its body holds genetic instability that allows it to resonate with the environment, reacting to subtle shifts in energy, temperature, and emotional atmosphere. This is why Eevee can evolve into so many different forms, from graceful beings tied to the sun or moon, to elemental creatures born from water, fire, electricity, nature, ice, and psychic energy. Every Eevee carries those possibilities within it like seeds waiting for the right moment to bloom. What makes Eevee so beloved is the softness it radiates. Trainers often describe it as a comforting presence, something warm and steady that sits beside them during long journeys. When Eevee curls up to sleep, its fur fluffs outward like a tiny cloud, absorbing heat and pressing gently against the person it trusts. Some say Eevee's fur seems alive with emotion, rising slightly when it's excited and settling smoothly when it's calm. This sensitivity makes it exceptionally good at understanding human feelings. Eevee often nudges trainers who seem sad, curling near them with a soft chirping sound that feels like an emotional balm. Its empathy is subtle but profound. Eevee's adaptability isn't just about evolution, it's reflected in its day-to-day behavior. It can adjust to new environments faster than nearly any other species, whether it's living in bustling cities, quiet forests, icy plains, or seaside towns. Eevee observes its surroundings with sharp curiosity, learning routines and patterns quickly. In cities, it trots confidently across paved streets and narrow alleys, following the flow of people like it belongs there. In forests, it moves between ferns and fallen leaves, with light, delicate steps, blending into nature effortlessly. This ability to thrive anywhere makes Eevee one of the most versatile Pokemon companions. Many researchers believe Eevee's evolutionary diversity is tied to its ancient origins. Fossil records indicate that early Eevee-like creatures lived in unpredictable climates, where survival required flexibility rather than specialization. Over generations, this adaptability condensed into Eevee's unique genetic code, giving it the unstable cellular structure that allows for evolution in so many directions. While Pokemon like Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon represent raw elemental forces, Eevee itself embodies potential, a calm, gentle core that can become whatever its environment shapes it into. Vaporeon is often considered the most fluid of Eevee's evolutions, reflecting the elegance and serenity of water. When Eevee evolves into this form, it gains the ability to merge seamlessly with lakes and rivers, dissolving into water like mist. Trainers who have lived near Vaporeon describe seeing ripples in the water, even when nothing physical is present, as if the Pokemon's essence still dances beneath the surface. This graceful form reflects the part of Eevee that harmonizes with emotion and intuition. Jolteon, by contrast, represents the quick spark of instinct. Its body becomes charged with electricity, bristling with spiked fur that crackles softly as static dances through it. Jolteon moves fast enough to create shimmering afterimages, darting forward like a lightning bolt. This form reveals the sharper, more energetic side of Eevee's potential, a side shaped by adrenaline and pure reflex. Even so, Jolteon retains traces of Eevee's loyalty, nudging trainers with warm sparks of affection. Flareon represents warmth, comfort, and protective fire. Its body glows with internal heat that can rise dramatically when it feels emotional, radiating warmth that people describe as soothing rather than intense. Trainers say Flareon sits calmly by bonfires, watching the flames with gentle eyes that reflect the deep ember-like glow within its chest. This fiery form expresses the passionate, devoted heart hidden inside every Eevee, the part that burns brightly for those it loves. Espeon evolves from Eevee when the bond between trainer and Pokémon becomes deep enough to resonate like psychic energy. This form reflects elegance, intelligence, and emotional clarity. Espeon senses subtle shifts in the atmosphere, predicting the weather and even the intentions of others with astonishing accuracy. Its fur shimmers faintly in the light, responding instantly to its surroundings. This evolution shows how deeply Eevee responds to companionship. When trust becomes powerful enough, it evolves into something serene and perceptive. Umbreon represents the quiet strength that comes from darkness and calm. Its black fur absorbs moonlight, causing the golden rings on its body to glow with soft radiance. Umbreon moves silently and remains composed in nearly every situation, reflecting a more introspective side of Eevee's potential. While its appearance may be mysterious, trainers who raise Umbreon describe it as steady, protective, and deeply loyal. This form grows from a bond of trust formed in quiet moments rather than excitement. Leafeon reflects the deep harmony between living things and nature. When Eevee evolves into this form, its fur becomes leaf-like, rustling softly like foliage in a breeze. Leafeon rests comfortably under sunlight, absorbing it like a plant while exhaling fresh oxygen that calms nearby Pokémon. This evolution reveals the peaceful, nurturing aspects hidden within Eevee, the part that seeks balance, growth, and harmony with the world. Glaceon embodies the beauty of ice and calm winter air. When Eevee becomes this form, its fur crystallizes into cool, shimmering patterns that glisten in the light. Glaceon's presence cools the air around it slightly, creating a gentle, refreshing chill. Trainers describe it as elegant and serene, capable of forming delicate ice sculptures with a flick of its tail. This form reflects the quiet, graceful resilience inside Eevee, the part that withstands challenges with tranquil poise. Sylveon, the final known evolution, reflects the power of affection itself. When Eevee evolves through strong bonds of love, its form becomes soft, pastel-colored, and adorned with flowing feelers that sense emotion. Sylveon radiates a soothing energy that calms even aggressive Pokémon, wrapping its feelers around trainers in affectionate gestures. This evolution reveals the most emotionally expressive potential within Eevee, the ability to comfort, support, and connect through pure kindness. What makes Eevee extraordinary is that none of these evolutions replace its core personality. No matter what form it becomes, the heart of Eevee remains present. Flareon's protective warmth echoes Eevee's gentleness. Jolteon's energy reflects Eevee's curiosity. Espeon's emotional awareness expands on Eevee's empathy. Even Umbreon's quiet vigilance mirrors Eevee's tendency to watch and understand. Eevee's spirit is resilient enough to shine through whatever form it takes, turning every evolution into an extension of its essence rather than a transformation that erases it. In everyday life, Eevee communicates through small gestures, a flick of the ear, a soft hum, a gentle paw on the hand. It expresses excitement by bouncing lightly, its tail swishing quickly back and forth. When embarrassed or shy, it lowers its head and scrunches slightly into its fur, making itself look even smaller. Trainers often fall in love with these tiny behaviors, which feel expressive enough to understand without words. Legends about ancient Eevee populations suggest that in distant eras, Eevee may have evolved into even more forms now lost to time. Cave paintings in certain regions depict Eevee-shaped figures surrounded by symbols of wind, metal, or stone, hinting at forgotten evolutionary paths shaped by extinct environments. While these ancient forms are unconfirmed, they reflect how deeply rooted Eevee's adaptability is within the world's mythology. Even wild Eevee display remarkable social intelligence. They form small groups for safety, communicating through chirps, tail signals, and gentle nudges. These groups don't follow strict hierarchies. Instead, Eevee cooperate naturally, taking turns keeping watch or seeking food. When danger approaches, they scatter quickly, using their agility to escape while calling softly to reunite afterward. This cooperative nature explains why Eevee bonds so easily with humans. It is wired for companionship, trust, and shared emotional experience. Eevee's signature softness is more than physical. It is emotional softness, the gentle way it approaches life, the openness with which it connects to others, and the quiet bravery it shows in unfamiliar situations. Eevee may not be the strongest Pokemon in its base form, but its adaptability and gentle resilience make it one of the most beloved partners a trainer can have. Its evolutions show the breadth of its potential, but Eevee itself shows the depth of its heart. And so, as night settles across cities and forests, Eevee curls up beside the people it loves, glowing faintly with the warm comfort of possibility. It sleeps peacefully, dreaming of countless futures, each one shaped by the environment, the bond, and the path chosen together. In every soft breath, Eevee carries the quiet promise that even the smallest Pokemon can hold within it worlds of endless wonder. Eevee's gentle, adaptable nature makes it one of the most emotionally expressive Pokemon in the entire world, and this sensitivity shows in the way it responds to its surroundings. In warm, happy homes filled with laughter, Eevee becomes more energetic, trotting from room to room with bright eyes and a soft, playful chirp. In calmer environments, like quiet forests or peaceful villages, it becomes mellow and serene, moving with light, delicate steps, as though its entire body is tuned to the softness of the atmosphere. This emotional tuning is part of what makes Eevee feel so alive. It doesn't just exist in the world, it responds to it, learns from it, and grows alongside the people and Pokemon it connects with. Its fur is one of its most iconic features, acting almost like a living expression of its emotional state. When Eevee feels excitement or curiosity, tiny static-like shivers run through the fur, making it fluff out slightly. When it feels nervous, its fur settles flatter against its body, especially around the tail. When it's content, the fur around its neck relaxes so much that it feels like soft, warm down. Some trainers swear they can interpret Eevee's mood simply by touching its fur, whether it's warm from affection, cool from relaxation, or buzzing with little ripples of energy. This finely tuned fur may also be tied to Eevee's adaptability, functioning like an emotional antenna that helps it understand the world. Because Eevee is so adaptable, trainers often find that their own personality subtly shapes the creature. Those who are energetic and outgoing often raise Eevee that evolve into forms like Jolteon or Flareon, which mirror their spark and passion. Trainers who lean toward calm, patient, reflective personalities tend to bond with Eevee that become Espeon, Umbreon, or Glaceon. Those drawn to nature often end up with Leafeon, while those who lead through compassion and emotional understanding naturally foster the growth that creates Sylveon. While external factors trigger evolution, the deeper bond between trainer and Pokemon influences which form feels most right. Eevee becomes, in many ways, a mirror of the heart that cares for it. Even before evolving, Eevee possesses remarkable agility and awareness. Its movements are fast but controlled, full of instinctive precision. When it leaps, it lands softly, barely making a sound. When it runs, it swerves with ease, slipping between obstacles like flowing wind. These natural abilities help wild Eevee survive despite their small size. They rely on quick thinking and speed rather than brute strength. Wild Eevee often hide in shallow burrows, tree hollows, or under large roots, using their small stature to disappear into the landscape. Their dens are typically cozy spaces, lined with leaves, moss, or feathers, warm little nests that reflect their gentle nature. Eevee's senses are keen enough to detect shifts in weather long before storms arrive. It reacts to atmospheric pressure, curling its tail tightly when rain approaches, or becoming restless when strong winds are coming. Some trainers treat Eevee like a natural weather gauge, watching it to predict sudden changes in climate. This sensitivity isn't limited to physical conditions either. Eevee can detect emotional storms as well, often retreating or cuddling close when it senses conflict or sadness. It doesn't need spoken words to understand. It feels intentions and moods like ripples in the air. Among all the evolutions, Vaporeon is often considered the most soothing. It retains Eevee's empathy, but channels it through water-like calmness. Trainers often find Vaporeon resting near pools, lakes, or fountains, letting its body ripple with the surface of the water. Its ability to dissolve into liquid form makes it seem dreamlike, appearing and vanishing with gentle fluidity. Some regions tell stories of Vaporeon acting as guardian spirits of lakes, guiding lost travelers who follow shimmering ripples across the water's edge. These tales reflect how Vaporeon embodies the serene heart that lives inside Eevee, a heart that flows, adapts, and brings quiet comfort. Jolteon, on the other hand, captures Eevee's excitement, transforming it into raw, electric brilliance. Jolteon's fur absorbs and stores electrical energy, crackling softly as it moves. When it's happy or enthusiastic, sparks flicker along its spikes like glittering stars. Trainers describe Jolteon as fiercely loyal, bursting with energy but always aware of its surroundings. It is protective in a swift, instinctual way, reacting to danger faster than thought. Though sharp in appearance, Jolteon often presses gently against its trainer, its sparks softening into a warm, tingling sensation that feels like excitement distilled into touch. Flareon represents warmth, both literally and emotionally. When it breathes, its body glows from within, radiating gentle heat that comforts during cold nights. Its flame pouch stores burning energy that rises with affection or courage. Trainers often describe Flareon as calm but fiercely protective, a Pokémon whose love burns as brightly as its fire. When Flareon lies beside its trainer, it becomes a living heater, its warmth wrapping gently around anyone nearby. Beneath its fluffy fur lies the same tender heart Eevee is known for, brave, loving, and ready to defend those it cares about. Espeon evolves from trust, and its elegance reflects this bond. Its psychic abilities allow it to read subtle cues in body language, thoughts, and atmosphere. Espeon often positions itself near windows, sensing sunlight and absorbing its warmth. It protects its trainer not through brute force, but through foresight. When danger approaches, Espeon senses it long before others do. Its movements are graceful, each step placed with purpose, each gaze filled with quiet intelligence. This evolution reflects Eevee's deep sensitivity, the part that listens with its whole being and responds with wisdom. Umbreon evolves through calm, deep connection formed under moonlight. It carries the tranquility of night in its sleek form, its glowing rings pulsing softly with atmospheric energy. Umbreon doesn't rush. It watches, it evaluates, it moves only when necessary. Trainers often describe Umbreon as a guardian in the dark, a quiet companion who remains by their side during late-night walks or quiet moments of reflection. This evolution represents Eevee's ability to find strength from within, embracing subtlety over intensity. Leafeon's connection to nature brings out a nurturing quality. When Eevee evolves into this form, its scent resembles fresh grass and sunlight. Leafeon rests peacefully under trees or in fields, its leafy tail swaying gently like foliage in the breeze. It breathes oxygen-rich air, cleansing spaces around it with subtle purity. Trainers say Leafeon brings peace simply by being present, a walking embodiment of calm. This evolution reveals the soft, nurturing spirit inside every Eevee, the part that wants harmony, growth, and life. Glaceon captures the elegance of stillness, its icy fur reflecting the cold beauty of winter. Though its presence cools the air, Glaceon carries a serene dignity rather than harshness. When it walks, frost dusts the ground beneath it, forming delicate patterns like tiny snowflakes following its steps. Its icy nature represents Eevee's ability to remain composed under pressure, responding to challenge with quiet resilience. Despite its cold exterior, Glaceon retains the loyal gentleness of Eevee. It simply expresses it through calm grace rather than bursts of affection. Sylveon, born from deep love, is perhaps the purest expression of Eevee's emotional heart. The ribbons that flow from its body react to emotional tension, soothing both humans and Pokémon with a gentle pulse of calm. Sylveon brings peace to chaotic situations, wraps its feelers around those who need comfort, and radiates an energy that feels warm and safe. Where other evolutions reflect elemental or environmental change, Sylveon reflects emotional growth, the version of Eevee that blossoms when surrounded by love. The unique thing about Eevee is that each evolution, no matter how different, feels like a true extension of the original creature. None of the forms feel out of place because all of them highlight a different aspect of Eevee's essence: its empathy, excitement, warmth, intuition, calmness, harmony, resilience, or affection. Eevee isn't a Pokémon with many separate destinies. It is a Pokémon with many connected ones, each one reflecting something true about its heart. When night falls, Eevee often curls up by its trainer's side, tail wrapped snugly around its body. Its tiny breaths form a peaceful rhythm that many describe as soothing. Some trainers swear Eevee dreams vividly, twitching its ears or paws as though exploring unseen worlds. Perhaps those dreams reflect the many possible futures it carries within it: the rivers of Vaporeon, the sparks of Jolteon, the fires of Flareon, the psychic visions of Espeon, the moonlit calm of Umbreon, the forests of Leafeon, the snowscapes of Glaceon, or the soft glow of Sylveon. Eevee's entire existence is a celebration of potential, a reminder that even the smallest creatures can hold within them infinite possibilities, that growth doesn't happen in one direction, that paths can branch, twist, and evolve as life changes, and that inside every heart lies the power to become something extraordinary, not by force, but by connection, environment, and love. Eevee's gentle adaptability allows it to connect with the world in ways most Pokémon never experience, and this sensitivity extends even to the smallest details of daily life. When Eevee wakes up in the morning, it often stretches with a soft, almost musical yawn, arching its back and fluffing its tail until it looks like a tiny ball of warmth ready to greet the day. Trainers who live with Eevee often find that it wakes when they do, as if its internal rhythm syncs naturally with the person it trusts. This ability to harmonize with others makes Eevee feel less like a pet and more like a companion whose presence slips comfortably into each moment. In quiet environments, Eevee listens to everything. Its ears rotate independently, capturing faint sounds like distant footsteps, rustling leaves, or soft whispers of wind. When it hears something unfamiliar, its ears perk up sharply, followed by a curious tilt of its head. This behavior isn't rooted in fear. Eevee is rarely afraid unless it senses true danger. Instead, it listens with open curiosity, always trying to understand the world more deeply. This curiosity is a foundational part of what makes Eevee such a flexible and intuitive Pokemon, able to navigate both peaceful and energetic situations with ease. Wild Eevee use their heightened hearing to communicate across distances. When separated from their group, they release soft chirps or gentle trills that the others instantly recognize. These vocalizations carry emotion as well as sound. A short, bright chirp means excitement, a low hum means contentment, and a slightly trembling trill means concern. When a group of wild Eevee reunites after being apart, they greet each other with affectionate nudges, tail flicks, and a flurry of happy sounds that echo through fields or forests like tiny, joyful bells. This social intelligence carries into their evolved forms as well. Even though Vaporeon, Jolteon, Flareon, and the others each have unique abilities and behaviors, they remain highly attuned to their trainers and surroundings. Vaporeon, for example, often rests near bodies of water not just for comfort, but because water enhances its ability to sense vibrations and emotional energy. Trainers sometimes find Vaporeon staring into still ponds as if reading the surface for stories only it can understand. When it senses someone approaching quietly, Vaporeon's ears lift, and its body ripples ever so slightly, like a gentle wave greeting a shoreline. Jolteon's sharp sensitivity to sound and motion makes it the most reactive of the evolutions. It listens for rhythmic patterns in the environment, footsteps, raindrops, crackling electricity, and reacts with quick flashes of movement. Some trainers believe Jolteon can recognize its trainer's footsteps even from long distances, responding instantly with excitement. This sensitivity also makes Jolteon incredibly empathetic. It senses tension in a room like static in the air, and often darts close to its trainer with soft sparks of comfort. Flareon displays emotional awareness through warmth. When someone is cold, Flareon instinctively moves closer, lowering its internal flames to a safe, soothing temperature. When someone is anxious, its body glows with a gentle ember-like pulse, radiating calm. Some trainers claim that Flareon's warmth feels as comforting as sunlight breaking through clouds, warming both body and heart. Its flame sac reacts directly to its emotions, creating tiny fluctuations in temperature that reflect its inner state. Espeon's psychic awareness allows it to understand emotional subtleties with astonishing clarity. It can detect tension in a trainer's voice before the trainer even realizes they're stressed. Espeon often nudges its trainer's hand or rests its forehead gently against them when it senses emotional strain, creating a calming psychic pulse that eases the mind. Its jewel glows faintly in these moments, shimmering like a silent promise of understanding and support. Umbreon expresses its emotional intelligence through presence rather than sound or movement. It sits quietly beside its trainer during difficult moments, offering comfort through silence. Umbreon's glowing rings pulse with a slow, steady rhythm that many describe as meditative, like the heartbeat of the night itself. Some trainers believe Umbreon can absorb negative emotions, grounding them and replacing them with calm, moonlit serenity. Even in the darkest environments, Umbreon's steady glow makes people feel safe, anchored in the quiet beauty of the night. Leafeon's empathy is nature-driven. It responds to emotional tension by releasing tiny amounts of clean, fresh air, almost like a natural deep breath for a room. Trainers say that just being near Leafeon can calm racing thoughts or ease stress. When someone is upset, Leafeon often curls close, its leafy fur rustling like wind passing gently through trees. The scent it releases shifts subtly with mood, sweet when happy, earthy when grounded, and faintly floral when offering comfort. Glaceon brings clarity through coolness. When someone is overwhelmed, Glaceon instinctively lowers the temperature around its trainer by just a few degrees, enough to refresh, not chill. This crisp calmness can help people think more clearly or settle their emotions. Glaceon moves with quiet purpose, placing its paws gently on the ground as if trying not to disturb the world. When comforting someone, it often sits at their side, letting its cool fur act like a soothing winter breeze. Sylveon is the most openly affectionate of the evolutions, communicating through touch rather than words. Its ribbons sense even tiny changes in heartbeat or breathing, allowing Sylveon to understand emotional shifts instantly. When it senses sadness, Sylveon wraps its feelers gently around its trainer, sending pulses of warmth and calm. These soothing waves seem to resonate emotionally, making tension fade like mist in sunlight. Sylveon is considered one of the best Pokemon for emotional support because of this ability, a living embodiment of love and comfort. Eevee's potential evolutions reflect a larger truth about the creature. It is shaped by connection. Whether evolving into a water-like dreamer, an electric spark, a fiery guardian, a psychic guide, a moonlit protector, a forest spirit, a winter breeze, or a warm-hearted fairy, each form represents a different emotional path. Eevee's transformations are not random. They are partnerships between environment, bond, and inner essence. This emotional depth also explains why Eevee is often chosen for young trainers. Its gentle personality makes it an ideal first companion. Eevee adapts to the trainer's pace, learning naturally alongside them. It becomes braver when they grow confident, gentler when they feel overwhelmed. Many trainers look back at their childhood memories and recall an Eevee curled up on their pillow, tucked into their backpack, or trotting proudly beside them on their earliest adventures. Even in adulthood, Eevee's presence inspires nostalgia. Something about its wide eyes and soft fur awakens the part of the heart that remembers simple joys. Playing outside until sunset, reading stories in bed, or going on imaginary adventures. Eevee often brings out a trainer's warmth because it radiates so much of its own. This timeless appeal is why Eevee remains one of the most beloved Pokemon across every generation. In communities where Pokemon folklore is passed down through families, Eevee holds a sacred place as a symbol of growth. It appears in stories about transformation, courage, and the infinite pathways of life. One tale from a far-off region describes the world as a forest filled with countless branching paths, some bright, some dark, some warm, some cold. According to the story, Eevee walks these paths until it finds the one that resonates with its heart, evolving into a form that reflects the path's spirit. This story mirrors the experience of many trainers, learning, adapting, and becoming something stronger through each turn in the road. Another legend paints Eevee as a guardian of crossroads, a gentle spirit that helps lost travelers choose the right direction. While this tale likely stems from Eevee's symbolic association with possibility, it reflects how deeply people connect with the creature's essence. Eevee doesn't simply evolve, it becomes, and its becoming inspires people to become too. When Eevee finally curls up to rest at night, it often chooses spots that feel emotionally connected, beside its trainer's pillow, near a warm fire, under a tree bathed in moonlight, or nestled into a pile of soft blankets. It tucks its tail under its body, ears lowering as its breathing slows into a soft, steady rhythm. In these peaceful moments, Eevee seems almost weightless, like a little pocket of warmth and possibility suspended in the quiet of the evening. Its dreams are said to reflect its potential evolutions: flashes of firelight, rippling water, glowing moons, rustling leaves, drifting snow, and soft ribbons of light. Perhaps these dreams are glimpses of its many possible futures, or perhaps they are simply reflections of the beauty surrounding it. Either way, Eevee sleeps with a peace so gentle that even the room feels calmer. And when morning comes, Eevee rises again, ready to explore, learn, and grow, a tiny creature carrying infinite destinies within a single warm heart. Eevee's gentle spirit is reflected in the way it interacts with the world during quiet moments, especially in the early hours of dawn when the light is soft and the air is cool. As the sun rises, Eevee often lifts its head slowly, blinking sleep from its eyes as its fur catches the first rays of warm light. These moments reveal something deeply peaceful about Eevee, the way it transitions from rest to motion with patience, stretching each limb carefully before standing. This peaceful awakening seems to reflect its adaptable nature, as though Eevee understands that every day holds new possibilities, new paths, and new futures waiting to unfold. In the morning, Eevee typically observes its trainer's routine with careful curiosity. It watches how they move, listens to the steady rhythm of their voice, and responds with soft chirps or gentle nudges. If its trainer rises early, Eevee wakes alongside them without complaint, trotting slightly behind with trusting footsteps. If its trainer sleeps in, Eevee curls closer, resting its head against their arm or pillow. This flexible rhythm shows how deeply Eevee bonds with the people it loves, matching their pace intuitively. Routine never feels restrictive to Eevee. It feels comforting, like a familiar melody it enjoys repeating with the person it trusts. Wild Eevee also possess this intuitive sense of rhythm. They adapt their activities to the needs of their group, shifting roles seamlessly without spoken communication. At dawn, one or two Eevee may stand guard while the others wake slowly, stretching and preparing for the day. They groom each other's fur gently, using their tongues to smooth down any stray tufts caused by sleep. This grooming behavior is both practical and affectionate, a way to maintain warmth, cleanliness, and emotional connection. It reinforces social bonds, ensuring their group remains tightly knit and cooperative. Eevee's tail plays a significant role in its communication. It swishes lightly when it's happy, thumps gently when it's excited, and tucks slightly when it feels shy or unsure. The tail's softness reflects Eevee's inner calm, while its movements reflect emotional nuance. When Eevee meets a new Pokemon or person, the tail usually lifts just a bit, signaling polite curiosity. When greeting someone it loves, the tail wags in a gentle, sweeping motion that feels warm and affectionate. Trainers often learn to read these patterns instinctively, understanding Eevee's feelings through the language of its tail. Because of its adaptability, Eevee has an unusually wide comfort zone. It may enjoy calm mornings in a cottage, bustling afternoons in a crowded city, or serene evenings in a quiet forest. It observes each new environment with interest, studying subtle details like the texture of the ground, the temperature of the air, or the distant sounds carried by the wind. This awareness gives Eevee a kind of wisdom that seems beyond its size. It understands that the world moves in many rhythms, and it harmonizes with whatever environment it finds itself in. When Eevee evolves, these traits transform alongside its body. Vaporeon often becomes most active at dawn or dusk, when water reflects the sky like polished glass. It approaches lakes and rivers slowly, its paws barely disturbing the surface. When it sinks into the water, its body melts into ripples, as though becoming part of the landscape. Trainers who observe this moment describe it as serene, like watching a dream dissolve into the breeze. Jolteon greets the day with sharp awareness. Its fur crackles faintly as it stretches, electricity gathering naturally in small sparks. Lightning sensitive by nature, Jolteon senses changes in static fields before storms arrive. It may grow restless or alert when the weather shifts, pacing lightly or flicking its ears. This heightened sensitivity reflects Eevee's emotional responsiveness, transformed into a physical connection with the world's electrical rhythms. Flareon experiences warmth as emotion. As the sun rises, Flareon absorbs heat, its body glowing faintly with energy. Its breath becomes warm puffs of air, and its tail flicks with gentle enthusiasm. By midday, Flareon may curl contentedly beside a sunny window or a warm rock, basking with closed eyes. Yet even in this fiery form, its heart remains as soft as Eevee's. The flame inside it burns, not for destruction but for comfort, companionship, and protection. Espeon thrives in sunlight. Morning rays energize its psychic abilities, making its jewel glow softly with rising power. It senses faint shifts in its trainer's emotions during these early hours, offering small nudges or purr-like vibrations of reassurance. Espeon's relationship with daylight mirrors Eevee's adaptability. The light becomes a source of clarity, sharpening Espeon's instincts and guiding its calm, deliberate movements. Umbreon prefers the shadows cast by morning light. It does not hide from the sun, but it gravitates toward areas where shade and coolness create balance. Its rings glow softly even in daylight, reflecting calm inner energy. When Umbreon walks beside its trainer in the early morning, its steps are quiet and confident, matching the tranquility of the world just waking up. Umbreon's bond with darkness is gentle, soothing rather than ominous. Leafeon welcomes the morning like a plant absorbing sunlight. Its leafy fur warms quickly in the early rays, releasing a fresh, invigorating scent that seems to fill the air with natural calm. Its movements become more fluid in sunlight, almost as if the warmth stimulates its entire body. Trainers often describe Leafeon as radiating peace, especially during the first hours of the day when the light is soft and golden. Glaceon enjoys the coolness of morning hours, before the sun fully warms the air. Its icy coat sparkles with dew-like frost, creating a shimmering effect as it moves. In these early moments, Glaceon seems at its most serene, gazing at the horizon with quiet contemplation. Even though Glaceon's presence brings a crisp chill, its elegance feels calming rather than cold. Sylveon greets the morning with soft affection. Its ribbons extend gently toward its trainer as if offering a morning embrace, sensing emotional energy with delicate precision. Even the smallest hint of stress or anxiety is met with soothing warmth as Sylveon's feelers wrap around the trainer's arm or hand. These tender gestures reflect Eevee's emotional core, strengthened by evolution, a heart that has grown so attuned to love that it radiates comfort like sunlight. What unites all these evolutions is the quiet way they honor Eevee's original personality. Despite drastic changes in appearance and ability, each form expresses something true about Eevee's essence. Whether it becomes water, lightning, fire, moonlight, psychic clarity, nature, ice, or affection, Eevee retains its gentle curiosity, its adaptability, its emotional intelligence, and its capacity for deep connection. One of the most heartwarming aspects of Eevee is how it bonds with children. Its small size, soft fur, and expressive nature make it a natural companion for young trainers. Eevee listens to their stories, follows their lead, and adapts to their emotions with remarkable ease. Children often form some of the strongest bonds with Eevee, shaping what it may one day evolve into. If a child finds comfort in nature, Eevee may become a Leafeon. If they are drawn to moonlit nights or calm darkness, Eevee may evolve into Umbreon. If their heart is full of affection and warmth, Sylveon becomes possible. Families in certain regions even believe that Eevee brings emotional balance to a household. They say that if an Eevee curls up near someone at night, it senses the emotions they cannot express. Its presence encourages peaceful sleep and gentle dreams. These beliefs reflect how deeply Eevee has become woven into culture, not just as a Pokemon, but as a symbol of emotional harmony. Even in the wild, Eevee's adaptability helps it form peaceful relationships with other Pokemon. Many forest Pokemon see Eevee as non-threatening, allowing it to share space without conflict. Bird Pokemon often perch near Eevee dens, watching over them from branches. Grass Pokemon quietly accept Eevee moving through their territory. Even certain wild electric or water types show curiosity rather than aggression when meeting an Eevee. This universal acceptance reflects Eevee's gentle aura, a presence that invites connection rather than confrontation. When Eevee sleeps at night, its body may glow faintly with emotional warmth. This glow isn't literal light, but a soft presence that trainers feel as they rest. Some say it feels like a small, warm star curled against them. Eevee's quiet breathing becomes a steady rhythm that blends with the peaceful nighttime air, wrapping the trainer in a cocoon of comfort. Its dreams are full of possibilities. Some nights it dreams of flowing water. Other nights, sparks of electricity dance across its imagination. Sometimes it dreams in fiery reds and oranges, sometimes in cool blues and silvers. And sometimes its dreams are full of pastel ribbons and soft light. Eevee's dreams mirror its many potential futures, all coexisting within its gentle heart. And so, Eevee drifts through each day as a living symbol of hope, growth, and transformation. A reminder that life offers many paths, and that every step, no matter how small, carries you toward a future full of possibility. Eevee's gentle charm becomes even more noticeable as the day moves toward afternoon, when the sun hangs high and the world settles into a steady rhythm. During these hours, Eevee often explores with a relaxed confidence, wandering slightly ahead of its trainer, but never too far to lose sight. It pauses frequently to sniff the air, study new scents, or observe tiny details that others might overlook, like the flutter of a leaf drifting on the breeze or the faint shimmer of sunlight dancing across puddles. These subtle observations reveal the depth of Eevee's curiosity, the way it absorbs the world slowly, lovingly, as if every small moment contains a spark of wonder. Eevee reacts to the warmth of the day with contentment. Its fur grows softer under sunlight, taking on a gentle shine that makes it appear almost golden at certain angles. When resting, Eevee often stretches its body fully across warm stones, wooden decks, or grassy patches, letting the heat soak into its core. Trainers say these sun-soaked naps make Eevee especially affectionate afterward. It wakes up with slow blinks, soft chirps, and a tendency to curl against the nearest familiar figure. This afternoon warmth seems to bring out the quiet, tender side of Eevee's personality. In forests, Eevee moves with delicate grace through patches of sunlight and shade. It blends so naturally into these patterns that sometimes only the flick of its tail or the glimmer in its eyes gives away its location. Wild Eevee often choose shaded dens during the hottest part of the day, resting in comfort while listening to the faint buzz of forest life. When the breeze shifts, Eevee lifts its head, ears rotating like small satellites tracking the world. This sensitivity to air currents comes from its long history of adapting to unpredictable environments, a skill that has carried through generations. Eevee's interactions with wild Pokemon during these hours are surprisingly social. Forest Pokemon like Oddish or Pachirisu often approach Eevee without fear, drawn to its gentle nature. Flying Pokemon might rest on overhead branches, chirping softly as Eevee walks below. Even territorial Pokemon occasionally give Eevee space to pass, sensing its peaceful aura. This natural harmony isn't the result of dominance or intimidation, but of subtle instinct, as if the forest recognizes Eevee as a harmless traveler, a small creature of soft intentions. As the afternoon progresses, the evolutions begin to express their unique traits more vividly. Vaporeon becomes especially playful in warm weather, diving into ponds or creating tiny splashes with its tail. When sunlight reflects off its water-like body, Vaporeon appears almost unreal, like a fluid sculpture made of shifting light. Trainers often sit nearby simply to watch, soothed by the calming rhythm of water rippling in harmony with Vaporeon's graceful movements. Jolteon, energized by the dry warmth of the afternoon, tends to zoom across open spaces with bursts of speed. Its spikes catch sunlight, creating a faint halo effect that flickers as it moves. Although fast and sharp in action, Jolteon remains attuned to its trainer, glancing back frequently, slowing its pace just enough to remain within comfortable distance. This blend of speed and loyalty reflects Eevee's instinct to stay connected even as it explores its own strengths. Flareon thrives in warm daylight. Its internal flame stabilizes, and its fluffy coat releases a soft, comforting heat. Trainers say Flareon often naps contentedly during these hours, its body rising and falling in slow, warm breaths. When awake, Flareon watches its surroundings with gentle, protective eyes, always ready to step forward if anything seems uncertain. The warmth it emits in the afternoon reflects the deeper warmth of its heart, a steady flame shaped by love. Espeon reaches peak clarity during midday. Psychic energy flows more smoothly under bright light, and Espeon often sits perfectly still, sensing subtle changes in the environment. Its jewel gleams faintly, catching sunlight like a polished gem. Trainers sometimes find Espeon gazing upward, as if drawing insight from the sky itself. Its presence during daylight hours feels balanced, elegant, and steady. A quiet guardian whose awareness stretches far beyond ordinary perception. Umbreon typically prefers the shade, but during afternoon hours, its calmness becomes a grounding force. It rests under trees or near cool walls, its golden rings dim but present. Even in rest, Umbreon remains attentive, lifting its head when it senses emotional shifts. Trainers often sit beside Umbreon during quiet afternoon moments, finding comfort in its tranquil presence. Umbreon expresses affection subtly, a gentle lean, a slow blink, a quiet sigh that seems to say, "I am here." Leafeon gains energy from the bright afternoon sun. Its leafy fur absorbs sunlight efficiently, giving Leafeon a faint, natural glow. During these hours, it explores grassy fields with enthusiasm, brushing its tail against flowers or resting beneath tall trees. The air around Leafeon often feels cleaner, fresher, filled with a hint of natural calm. Some trainers swear that being near Leafeon during the afternoon feels like stepping into a peaceful meadow, even in the middle of a bustling town. Glaceon becomes more elegant in warm light, its icy fur shining like frost under a spotlight. Despite the heat, Glaceon maintains its cool aura, creating a refreshing pocket of air around itself. Trainers appreciate this effect during summer afternoons, often resting beside Glaceon to escape the stronger heat. Glaceon rarely shows exhaustion. Its calm endurance reflects Eevee's inherent resilience, transformed into icy grace. Sylveon uses the warm hours to express affection more openly. Its feelers respond to emotional energy with heightened sensitivity during the afternoon, allowing Sylveon to comfort and stabilize anyone feeling tired or overwhelmed. It often curls beside its trainer, its ribbons wrapping gently around their arm like a soft hug. These gestures reflect Sylveon's deep emotional awareness, a trait inherited from Eevee's innate sensitivity and expanded through evolution. What makes Eevee unique among all Pokémon is the sense of companionship it offers. Regardless of which evolution it becomes, its connection to its trainer remains intimate and deeply personal. Each evolution forms bonds in ways that align with its nature, but the heart of Eevee, that soft, empathetic core, always shines through. Eevee communicates in small ways throughout the afternoon. If its trainer seems distracted, Eevee nudges their hand gently. If they laugh, Eevee flicks its ears and bounces playfully. If they seem tired, Eevee curls close, sharing warmth and comfort. These tiny gestures reveal Eevee's emotional intelligence, an ability to sense what someone feels even before they express it aloud. Researchers studying Eevee's genetics believe its emotional sensitivity is tied to the same instability that enables its many evolutions. Its cells respond not just to environment, but to emotion, syncing subtly with the people around it. This cellular responsiveness may be why Eevee is so often chosen for roles involving therapy, companionship, or emotional support. Eevee doesn't just understand emotions, it feels them, adapting its behavior with gentle precision. In regions where Eevee is common, people often celebrate its adaptable nature through small festivals. Children wear fluffy Eevee hoods, adults decorate lanterns with evolution patterns, and games revolve around choosing imaginary evolutionary paths. The festival is symbolic, a celebration of personal growth, choice, and the many futures people can shape. Eevee stands as a metaphor for potential, reminding people that change isn't something to fear but something to embrace. As afternoon slowly fades into the cooler glow of evening, Eevee becomes even more affectionate. It walks closer to its trainer, its tail brushing lightly against their leg. Its ears twitch at distant sounds, but its attention remains focused on the person beside it. When the sky softens into orange and gold, Eevee often pauses to watch, its eyes reflecting the warm light. In these quiet moments, Eevee feels almost like a creature made of pure emotion, a small heart watching a big world with endless openness. Even without evolving, Eevee holds a kind of magic. It reminds trainers that strength isn't just about power, it's about connection, possibility, tenderness, and trust. And as evening settles in, Eevee carries these qualities with graceful ease, stepping calmly into the next part of the day with its trainer always at its side. As evening settles in and the world shifts from bright afternoon warmth to the soft glow of twilight, Eevee begins to show another side of its personality, the thoughtful, observant calm that comes out when the day grows quiet. The golden light reflects gently off Eevee's fur, giving it a warm, amber shimmer as it moves. This time of day seems to bring Eevee a deep sense of peace, as though the world's slowing rhythm aligns perfectly with its own gentle heart. Trainers often notice Eevee pausing more frequently at dusk, gazing at the sky with dreamy curiosity, its large eyes reflecting the fading sunlight like tiny lanterns preparing for night. Eevee's senses grow sharper as daylight dims. Its ears rotate with heightened attentiveness, catching the faint rustle of distant grass or the flutter of wings high in the trees. It steps more softly, choosing its paths with care. This change in behavior isn't rooted in fear, but in instinct. The twilight hours were once crucial to its ancestors, who relied on low light to forage safely. Even now, Eevee carries that ancient awareness, moving through dusk like a creature woven from the shadows and the last traces of daylight. Wild Eevee often gather before nightfall, forming gentle clusters in safe areas where they groom each other's fur and exchange soft, rhythmic chirps. These gatherings act as emotional resets, strengthening bonds before night brings new sounds and shifting temperatures. Older Eevee nudge the young into the center of the group, offering warmth and protection. These scenes capture the deep social intelligence hidden inside Eevee. It understands comfort not just as a feeling, but as a shared experience. The evolutions come alive in their own unique ways during Twilight 2. Vaporeon becomes a fluid silhouette near bodies of water, its form blending into the cool reflections of the evening sky. As the light fades, Vaporeon's body ripples with soft luminescence, creating the impression that it is glowing faintly beneath its liquid surface. The shift in light makes it appear almost ethereal, slipping in and out of visibility with each ripple of water. Trainers find these moments mesmerizing, like watching a living dream drift under the growing moonlight. Jolteon grows alert around sunset, sensing the shift in atmospheric electricity that often comes with cooler nighttime air. Its fur crackles softly, sending tiny sparks of gold along its spikes. Jolteon may pace more during this time, testing the ground with quick steps as though preparing for the unpredictability of night. Yet it always comes back to its trainer's side, nudging their hand or leaning lightly against them, a quiet reassurance hidden beneath its sharp exterior. Flareon radiates comfort during twilight hours. Its warm body glows subtly in the fading light, creating a cozy halo around it. Trainers who rest beside Flareon at dusk often say it feels like sitting beside a living hearth, comforting, steady, grounding. When night winds begin to rise, Flareon lifts its head proudly, its mane flickering with soft, ember-like glows that seem to chase away the chill. This warmth reflects the protective spark deep inside Eevee's nature. Espeon becomes deeply attuned to the evening atmosphere. It senses subtle changes in temperature, sound, and emotional rhythm, adjusting its posture like someone tuning into a quiet melody. The gem on its forehead glows with a gentle, steady light, casting soft reflections across its fur. During twilight, Espeon's psychic awareness becomes particularly sharp. It reacts to distant movements before anyone else notices. Its elegance during this time feels almost reverent, as if it is greeting the coming night with calm acknowledgement. Umbreon, of course, enters its true element as light fades. Its rings begin to glow more brightly, illuminating the darkness with soft, golden light. The contrast between Umbreon's sleek black fur and its glowing markings gives it a mysterious, enchanting presence. Umbreon walks slowly and confidently during twilight, its silent steps blending perfectly with the quiet world. Trainers often feel a reassuring sense of protection simply from Umbreon's presence, like having the night itself walk beside them, watchful and loyal. Leafeon responds to evening air with a gentle rustling of its leafy fur. As temperatures cool, subtle scents rise from its body, hints of grass, earth, and fresh greenery. When the wind brushes through its fur, it produces a calming sound that resembles the quiet whispers of a forest. During twilight, Leafeon often lies in grassy patches bathed in orange light, its body almost camouflaged among plants. This harmony with nature reflects Eevee's adaptable heart, shaped beautifully through evolution. Glaceon transforms twilight into a scene of quiet winter elegance. As the temperature drops, Glaceon's icy fur glistens, reflecting the fading light like frost on crystal. Even in warm climates, Glaceon brings a delicate chill to the air, creating a refreshing pocket of cool calmness. Trainers walking with Glaceon at dusk say the world feels more tranquil, the air more soothing. Glaceon's beauty during this time feels almost otherworldly, a peaceful presence moving gracefully through the gentle fall of evening. Sylveon becomes especially affectionate at twilight, sensing emotional softness in the shifting atmosphere. Its feelers glow faintly in the dimming light, moving gently toward its trainer in warm, comforting gestures. Sylveon often hums or produces soft, melodic vibrations that resonate emotionally with anyone nearby. These soothing pulses make evening walks with Sylveon feel serene, wrapped in a cocoon of gentle reassurance. Twilight brings out the nurturing heart of this evolution, revealing the depth of its emotional understanding. As night fully approaches, Eevee often becomes more thoughtful and reflective. It may sit quietly at its trainer's side, staring into the distance as though contemplating the day. There's a wisdom in Eevee's stillness, a sense that it carries not just instinct, but an awareness of life's transitions. Twilight symbolizes change, and Eevee, a Pokémon defined by transformation, seems to understand this better than most. Eevee's nighttime behaviors reveal an entirely different layer of its personality. Once the sky darkens, Eevee grows more alert, its senses sharpening instinctively. Its ears twitch at even the faintest sounds, a branch shifting, a leaf falling, distant footsteps. This vigilance isn't rooted in anxiety. It's an inherited trait developed long before Eevee lived in comfortable homes, when survival depended on listening deeply to the night. In darkness, Eevee moves with soft, careful steps, its paws landing lightly on the ground. Trainers often describe it as floating rather than walking. Its tail flicks more subtly during night hours, signaling quiet communication. Here, attention, caution, calm. When Eevee senses its trainer is tense, it moves closer, brushing softly against their leg or curling around their ankles in gentle reassurance. The natural world changes at night, and Eevee adapts to these changes effortlessly. Under moonlight, its fur reflects subtle silver tones, giving it an almost magical glow. When the moon is bright, Eevee often gazes upward, mesmerized by the glowing sky. Some people believe Eevee draws strength from moonlight, especially the part of its nature that leads to Umbreon, the calm, steady connection to night. Researchers studying nighttime behavior have noticed that Eevee displays heightened emotional perception under moonlight. It senses its trainer's emotional state with remarkable clarity, responding with tailored gestures, nuzzling for comfort, soft chirps for encouragement, or stillness for quiet solidarity. This emotional resonance reinforces the idea that Eevee's adaptability is tied not just to the physical world, but to emotional landscapes as well. Nighttime also reveals the underlying unity among all evolutions. Even though Vaporeon melts into shadows near water, and Espeon sits upright watching the stars, even though Jolteon sharpens its awareness and Flareon radiates warm light, they all share one thing: a deep-rooted connection to the quiet intimacy of night. Their behaviors shift in ways that reflect Eevee's emotional core, the desire to understand, adapt, accompany, and protect. This sense of companionship is what makes Eevee such a remarkable partner during nighttime journeys. When walking through dimly lit paths, Eevee stays close without clinging, confident in its presence while offering gentle reassurance. It never rushes, it never panics. It moves as if the night itself welcomes it, as though darkness is simply another environment for it to understand and harmonize with. When Eevee finally decides to rest, it curls into a tight, warm ball, tucking its tail beneath its chin. Its breathing softens into a calm, steady rhythm, blending with the quiet sounds of nighttime cricket calls or distant waves. Its warmth becomes a small beacon of comfort in the dark, reminding trainers that even in the quietest hours, they're not alone. And so, Eevee drifts into peaceful sleep under the gentle glow of night, carrying within it all the softness, adaptability, and potential that make it one of the most beloved Pokémon in the world. Whether beside its trainer, beneath a tree, or nestled in a warm bed, Eevee embodies comfort and possibility, reminding anyone who watches it rest that even the smallest hearts can light up the night. Night deepens slowly, settling around the world in layers of quiet stillness, and Eevee seems to sense every shift within it. As the air cools and shadows lengthen, Eevee's movements grow softer, as though it understands that the world is preparing for rest. Its eyes take on a gentle sheen in the moonlight, reflecting the silver glow like tiny mirrors holding pieces of the night sky. Trainers who watch Eevee during these hours often describe the moment as calming, almost meditative, as if Eevee itself carries a little pocket of peace within its small, warm body. In complete darkness, Eevee relies on instinct sharpened over generations. Its ears rotate constantly, picking up even the faintest rustles of grass or distant footsteps. When it hears something unexpected, it freezes briefly, eyes focused, tail still. Then, once it understands there's no danger, it moves again with a light, steady rhythm. It never overreacts. Even though its senses are sharp, Eevee behaves with a calm intelligence that keeps the atmosphere peaceful. This balance of alertness and tranquility makes Eevee a comforting companion for nighttime walks. Trainers traveling with Eevee after sunset often notice how attuned it becomes to their emotional state. If a trainer feels uneasy in the dark, Eevee stays close, walking right beside their leg with its tail gently brushing their calf. If the trainer is relaxed, Eevee trots just a bit ahead, guiding the way with quiet confidence. This emotional adaptability is at the heart of who Eevee is, a creature that listens not with ears, but with its entire being. Wild Eevee show similar behaviors when moving at night. They travel in small groups, each one blending into the shadows with remarkable ease. Their steps create only the faintest sounds, barely audible even on dry leaves. These groups communicate through soft chirps and gentle tail flicks, signaling directions or reassurances. When reaching a safe resting place, the group forms a tight circle, bodies close, warmth shared. This cooperative behavior helps Eevee survive in the wild and explains why it bonds so easily with humans. Companionship is in its nature. When Eevee evolves, each form reveals its connection to the night differently. Umbreon, of course, becomes the brightest presence in the dark. Its rings glow with a steady radiance, not harsh but soothing, like lanterns guiding quiet travelers. Umbreon navigates the night with unmatched grace, blending confidence with serenity. It rarely startles, rarely hesitates. This steady composure reflects the deepest part of Eevee's heart, the part that becomes strong not through force, but through calm understanding. Espeon, though more associated with daylight, becomes quietly mystical after sunset. While its psychic abilities are strongest under the sun, its awareness remains sharp during the night. Espeon often sits still beneath moonlight, letting faint psychic ripples extend outward like delicate threads. It senses subtle vibrations, emotional shifts, distant movements in the environment. Trainers watching Espeon at night often feel as though the Pokémon is listening to the world in a way no one else can, interpreting silence as though it were a language. Vaporeon transforms night into a shimmering dream. When it slips beneath moonlit water, its body glows faintly, creating trails of ripple light that drift across the surface. Lakes with Vaporeon swimming in them look almost enchanted. Moving reflections of stars and silver light dance across the water in patterns that feel alive. Trainers camping near water often watch Vaporeon glide silently through ripples, its fluid form blending with the nighttime world in a way that feels serene and hypnotic. Jolteon becomes sharper and more alert at night, sensing faint electrical fluctuations carried by even the slightest breeze. Its spikes catch moonlight in flashes of silver, creating brief glimmers that appear and vanish as it moves. Despite its sharpness, Jolteon tends to stay closer to its trainer at night, emitting a subtle crackle of energy that feels protective rather than intimidating. This watchfulness comes from instinct and from the part of Eevee that values deep connection and shared safety. Flareon glows more warmly in the dark, its internal flame shining through its fluffy coat in soft pulses. These pulses often sync with its breathing, creating a gentle rhythm of light that feels almost like a heartbeat. When Flareon rests beside its trainer at night, the warmth it radiates becomes a source of comfort, warding off chill and fear alike. Its presence feels like a living firelight, steady, soothing, and full of quiet devotion. Leafeon responds to nighttime in surprisingly calm ways. It rests beneath trees or against grassy hillsides, its leafy fur blending perfectly into the natural world, even under starlight. The air around Leafeon takes on a faint, refreshing coolness, as though infused with the scent of night fields and dew-dusted leaves. When wind brushes through its fur, the gentle rustle sounds like whispers of nature settling into rest. Leafeon carries the peaceful side of Eevee's spirit, embodying the harmony found in the quiet moments of night. Glaceon becomes truly radiant under the moon. Its icy fur sparkles like frost in starlight, catching even the faintest glimmer and reflecting it in tiny flashes. Trainers say Glaceon looks like a walking piece of winter night, cool, elegant, serene. When Glaceon exhales, faint wisps of cold mist drift through the air, adding to its ethereal presence. Yet beneath its icy beauty remains Eevee's tender core. Glaceon often presses gently against its trainer for company, sharing calm rather than distance. Sylveon becomes luminous during nighttime hours, its ribbons glowing with soft pastel hues that make it look almost like a floating lantern. These ribbons detect emotional tension with incredible accuracy, and Sylveon uses them instinctively to soothe those nearby. At night, these gentle pulses feel even more comforting, as if Sylveon is wrapping the quiet world in warmth and reassurance. Trainers often fall asleep peacefully beside Sylveon, lulled by its calm glow and steady, loving presence. Eevee itself responds to these evolved expressions of nighttime energy with its own form of quiet magic. Even without evolving, Eevee carries within it hints of all these possibilities. Sometimes its fur seems warmer, reflecting the heart of Flareon. Sometimes its eyes shimmer like Espeon's jewel. Sometimes its quiet stillness echoes Umbreon's calm. Eevee feels like the prelude to an entire world of forms, each one slumbering in its heart until the right moment awakens it. One of the simplest but most comforting things about Eevee at night is the way it settles into rest. When it curls up to sleep, it tucks its tail under its chin and folds its body into a soft, compact shape that radiates warmth. Its breathing becomes slow and steady, creating a calming rhythm. Trainers often describe falling asleep more easily with Eevee nearby, not because of any supernatural ability, but because of the gentle emotional presence it carries. Even wild Eevee sleep in ways that reflect their social nature. They form small clusters, each one leaning against another for warmth and security. Their tails may overlap, their ears touching faintly as they drift into sleep. These clusters create a sense of unity, a quiet reminder that even in darkness, they face the world together. This natural closeness hints at why Eevee bonds so deeply with trainers. Companionship is built into its instincts. Nighttime also brings a sense of imagination to Eevee. Some trainers swear that Eevee dreams more vividly under the moon, making soft chirps or tiny paw movements as it sleeps. Its dreams may reflect its many potential evolutions: splashes of water, sparks of electricity, warm flames, moonlit paths, forest breezes, cold winter nights, or ribbons of soft light. Perhaps Eevee's dreams contain glimpses of futures it may one day choose, or perhaps they simply mirror the beauty of the world it loves so much. In the quietest hours of night, when the world feels still and peaceful, Eevee becomes a symbol of the gentle mysteries that life holds. It reminds its trainer that it's okay not to have the future decided yet, that choices can unfold naturally over time, and that even uncertainty can be beautiful. Eevee embodies possibility, not pressure, a creature that grows through love, patience, environment, and connection. And as night drifts toward dawn, Eevee rests with a calm heart, ready to greet another day full of new experiences, new paths, and new chances to become something extraordinary. As the earliest hints of dawn begin to stretch across the horizon, a faint glow touches the edges of the world, and Eevee senses the shift long before the sun appears. Even while still curled asleep, its ears twitch softly, responding to distant sounds that grow clearer as the night slowly gives way to morning. The air seems to change texture in these hours, cooler, gentler, filled with a quiet promise of renewal. Eevee stirs with delicate movements, blinking awake with soft eyes that catch the faintest glimmer of light. This moment of transition, as darkness loosens its grip on the world, seems to resonate deeply with Eevee's adaptable spirit. Eevee often rises slowly during dawn, stretching each limb with a tiny yawn that makes its fur fluff out adorably. Its tail arcs upward briefly before gently swaying behind it. Dawn is a time of curiosity for Eevee, a time when the world feels new again. Every sound is crisp, every scent is fresh, and Eevee approaches these early moments with eagerness tempered by quiet wonder. Trainers waking beside Eevee often find it sitting upright, watching the changing colors in the sky as if contemplating the day ahead. In the wild, Eevee groups show remarkable coordination at dawn. While the youngest Eevee blink sleepily and nuzzle into one another for warmth, older ones stand and stretch first, scanning the environment with a mix of attentiveness and tranquility. The group's movements reflect ancient survival patterns, passed down through generations when early morning foraging meant safety and opportunity. They communicate with soft trills, nudges, and rhythmic tail flicks, ensuring that each Eevee knows the others are awake and well. These gentle dawn rituals reinforce their social bonds, creating a sense of unity that carries through the rest of the day. Eevee's heightened senses make dawn a moment of clarity. It can smell moisture on the grass, sense faint temperature changes, and listen to the soft chorus of morning insects and distant bird calls. Its ears perk up with each new sound, rotating independently with pinpoint accuracy. This sensory sharpness hints at how Eevee navigates its world, not with brute force or intimidation, but with awareness, adaptability, and an intuitive understanding of its surroundings. Each evolution also reveals its own relationship with dawn. Vaporeon seems to glow softly as light reflects off its watery form, making it appear almost pearlescent in the early hours. When it emerges from a lake or pond at dawn, droplets slide off its body in small, shimmering beads, catching the golden light in a way that looks otherworldly. Vaporeon often greets the morning with slow, graceful movements, flicking its tail through the water as if painting the dawn with ripples. Jolteon feels the morning's rising energy, as static in the air begins to build with sunlight warming the environment. Jolteon stretches with a spark of excitement, tiny bolts flickering along its fur. Morning is when its speed is at its sharpest, as if the electricity in its body syncs naturally with the awakening world. Trainers often notice Jolteon bouncing slightly on its paws at dawn, ready to greet the new day with bright enthusiasm. Flareon thrives under the increasing warmth of early sunlight. Its fluffy coat glows softly in the golden light, reflecting hues of orange and red that make it look like a living ember. Flareon often takes a few moments to stretch luxuriously, letting the morning warmth soak into its fur. As it breathes, Tiny puffs of gentle heat drift from its mouth, creating a cozy glow around it. This warmth ties back to Flareon's deep emotional core, protective, loving, and filled with a quiet, comforting fire. Espeon becomes especially elegant under the dawn sky. Its gemstone reflects the rising sun with soft radiance, creating tiny glints of pink and violet. Espeon often stands very still during these moments, closing its eyes to sense the incoming energy of the day. Its psychic awareness feels sharper, clearer, and more connected. Trainers sometimes swear Espeon can anticipate the sunrise by seconds, its body tensing subtly right before the first ray breaks across the horizon. Umbreon, though more tied to night, experiences dawn like a gentle farewell to the darkness it loves. Its glowing rings dim slowly with the growing light, pulsing softly as if adjusting to the transition. Umbreon often walks beside its trainer during early morning hours, calm and steady, keeping close until the sun rises fully. Though it begins to retreat to rest during daylight, Umbreon remains protective and aware, staying connected even as it prepares to sleep. Leafeon responds to dawn like a plant awakening. The early light energizes the photosynthetic properties in its leafy fur, causing it to release a faint, refreshing scent similar to dew-covered grass. This calming aroma spreads through the air, making morning walks with Leafeon feel serene and grounding. Trainers often describe Leafeon's dawn presence as peaceful, like standing in a meadow just as the world begins to wake. Glaceon sparkles under dawn light in a way that resembles frost-catching sunrise. Its icy fur refracts the growing colors of the sky, creating tiny glimmers of blue, silver, and pink. As the sun climbs, Glaceon's presence cools the air gently, offering a crisp counterbalance to the warming day. Its calm demeanor fits perfectly with the early morning hush, giving it an almost statuesque elegance. Sylveon greets dawn with affection. The shift in light makes its ribbons glow softly, pulsing with pastel colors that mirror the sky. Sylveon often walks closer to its trainer during early morning hours, sensing the emotional softness that dawn naturally brings. Its soothing energy feels amplified at this time, making it a warm, comforting presence as the world begins its daily rhythm again. Eevee, for its part, experiences dawn as a moment of renewal, a reminder that every new day holds countless paths it might follow, countless choices it might make. This symbolic meaning fits Eevee perfectly, a Pokémon that represents possibility in every aspect of its being. Trainers often feel this too when waking beside Eevee. Its gentle presence encourages a hopeful, open-hearted start to the day. Throughout the morning, Eevee becomes more active, scampering with soft steps as it explores. It enjoys investigating tiny details: flowers opening, insects crawling along tree bark, drops of dew shimmering on petals. Eevee approaches these moments with wonder, tilting its head or sniffing delicately as if memorizing the world's textures. Its curiosity is contagious. Trainers frequently find themselves appreciating small details they would otherwise overlook. Wild Eevee often use the morning hours to forage or play. You might see them darting playfully through tall grass, chasing each other in circles before collapsing into small, giggling heaps of fur. Their joy during these hours is pure and simple, a reflection of Eevee's bright, adaptable spirit. Even predators tend to leave groups of Eevee alone during early morning hours, perhaps out of respect for the peaceful energy they radiate. One of the loveliest traits of Eevee is how it seeks connection throughout the day. If its trainer kneels, Eevee approaches with gentle curiosity, placing its paws on their knee or nuzzling their hand. If the trainer speaks softly, Eevee's ears perk in recognition, responding with a tiny chirp as if saying, "I'm here." These moments of quiet companionship reveal Eevee's tendency to check in emotionally even when no words are spoken. During late morning, when the world is fully awake, Eevee often displays bursts of playfulness. It might chase falling leaves, hop onto small rocks, or look up at its trainer expectantly with wide, shining eyes. Its joy is simple but deeply genuine. This enthusiasm creates bonds that feel warm, safe, and lasting. Trainers who've raised Eevee often speak of these moments with fondness, recalling them as some of the happiest memories of their journeys. As the sun rises higher, Eevee adapts naturally to the day's growing energy. It walks with confidence, tail flicking gently behind it, ready to explore whatever comes next. Whether it eventually evolves or remains in its base form doesn't matter. Its heart stays the same, tender, curious, emotionally attuned, and full of endless possibility. And through all these hours, from dawn to daylight, Eevee remains a living reminder that life is a journey shaped not just by strength or power, but by potential, connection, and the gentle courage to grow in different directions. As the morning grows brighter and the sun rises fully into the sky, the world awakens with renewed energy, and Eevee steps into this liveliness with a gentle confidence all its own. The warmth of daylight settles onto its fur, creating a soft, golden glow that highlights the delicate patterns in its coat. Eevee seems to thrive in this brightness, moving with a relaxed ease that reflects the calm joy of a new day. Trainers often say that watching Eevee explore in late morning feels like watching a soft breeze drift through a sunny field, unhurried, curious, and full of quiet optimism. By this time of day, Eevee's senses are fully engaged. It listens attentively to distant sounds, the hum of people moving through towns, the soft rustling of leaves brushed by gentle wind, the rhythmic footsteps of passing Pokémon. Its tail sways slowly, responding to each new stimulus with serene interest. The world feels wide and welcoming in these hours, and Eevee embraces that openness with a heart that seems ready to learn and understand everything around it. Morning is also when Eevee shows some of its most playful tendencies. With its energy rising alongside the sun, it might scamper through flower beds, hop across stones, or chase drifting petals carried by the breeze. Its movements are light and graceful, each step almost bouncing, as though the day itself has given Eevee a spark of joy. Sometimes it will look back at its trainer with bright eyes, inviting them to participate in these small games. Trainers often find themselves laughing or kneeling to join Eevee, touched by the creature's gentle enthusiasm. In more natural settings, like forests or open fields, wild Eevee displays similar bursts of energy. They run together in soft herds, weaving in and out of tall grass with coordinated, playful motions. These activities strengthen group bonds, teaching younger Eevee essential skills while offering moments of pure happiness. The soft chirps exchanged between group members echo across the landscape, forming a gentle melody that blends with the sounds of nature. Even after their play settles, wild Eevee remain close to one another, fully comfortable in the presence of their companions. Each evolution reflects this morning brightness in its own way. Vaporeon, for instance, becomes beautifully reflective under full sunlight. Its watery body shimmers with light that dances across its surface, creating ripples of brightness with every step. Vaporeon often stretches luxuriously across warm rocks or drifts lazily in shallow pools, letting the sun warm its fluid form. The combination of sunlight and water creates a surreal, dreamlike image, as if Vaporeon is a creature made of liquid crystal. Jolteon feels the morning's energy like a rising tide. As the sun strengthens, Jolteon's body seems to hum with stored electricity, each spike glowing faintly with static potential. It becomes more agile, darting across open areas with precise strides. If the weather is dry, Jolteon may release tiny sparks as it moves, turning each step into a flicker of light. Despite its speed and sharpness, Jolteon always remains keenly aware of its trainer's movements, displaying loyalty through constant watchfulness. Flareon finds its comfort in the warmth of the sun. Its fluffy fur absorbs heat like a blanket, storing it within the flame sac at its core. During late morning, Flareon often lies on sunlit ground, absorbing radiant warmth that fuels its inner flame. The heat it radiates afterward is soothing rather than intense, giving its trainer a sense of comfort simply by being nearby. Flareon's morning presence mirrors Eevee's tender heart, offering warmth both emotionally and physically. Espeon flourishes in full sunlight, its psychic energy becoming clearer and more stable as daylight strengthens. Morning is when Espeon's mind feels most connected to the environment, able to interpret subtle shifts in emotion or movement with remarkable clarity. It may sit near a window or stand on elevated ground, letting its jewel catch the sunlight as it surveys the world with serene attention. This calm awareness reflects Eevee's adaptable intelligence, transformed into psychic elegance. Umbreon, though more aligned with night, still moves through morning with a composed grace. Its rings glow softly, slowly fading as the world brightens, but never losing their subtle allure. Umbreon tends to find shaded areas during this time, resting while remaining vigilant. Its slow, steady breathing becomes a grounding presence, offering calm reassurance to its trainer even as sunlight replaces moonlight. Leafeon absorbs the full brightness of morning with joy. As the sun strengthens, its leafy fur stands more upright, energized by the warmth. The scent released from its body becomes richer, hints of fresh grass, sunlight, and growing plants all blending naturally. Morning walks with Leafeon often feel like stepping through a peaceful garden, the air fresh and full of vitality. Every movement Leafeon makes feels connected to nature's rhythm. Glaceon contrasts the morning warmth with its cool elegance. The sunlight causes its icy fur to sparkle brilliantly, scattering light like tiny prisms. Even in the heat, Glaceon maintains a gentle, refreshing coolness around its body. Trainers often appreciate Glaceon's presence on warm days, finding relief in the crisp air it provides. Its calm demeanor pairs perfectly with the quiet brightness of late morning. Sylveon blossoms emotionally in these hours. Morning light enhances the soft glow of its ribbons, making them appear almost iridescent. Sylveon greets the day with affection, often touching its trainer gently with its feelers or walking beside them with graceful steps. Its soothing presence is even more noticeable during daylight, as Sylveon uses small pulses of warmth and emotional clarity to bring harmony to the day's beginning. Eevee, in its base form, displays all these traits in smaller but deeply meaningful ways. It carries within it hints of water, electricity, fire, psychic intuition, moonlit calm, forest harmony, icy resilience, and pure affection, all wrapped inside a tiny, soft body full of warmth and potential. This is why trainers feel something so compelling when looking at Eevee. It is not just a Pokemon, it is a symbol of growth, possibility, and the many different paths a heart can choose. By midday, Eevee often settles into a calm rhythm, walking beside its trainer with quiet trust. It listens intently to the world, reacting not with fear, but with steady curiosity. When it senses something interesting, it may lower its head and sniff, or tilt its head in thoughtful observation. Trainers sometimes pause simply to watch Eevee investigating the world, charmed by how fully it engages with even the smallest details. Eevee's empathy becomes particularly noticeable during these hours. If its trainer feels stressed or distracted, Eevee picks up on those emotions quickly. It might sit in front of them with soft eyes, gently nudging their hand or placing a paw on their knee. These small gestures have a grounding effect, pulling the trainer back into the present moment with a sense of comfort. It's as if Eevee instinctively understands that emotional support often comes through presence rather than action. As midday approaches, wild Eevee seek shade beneath trees, resting while the sun reaches its highest point. Even then, they remain attentive, shifting their ears or adjusting their positions as the environment changes. Their calm behavior during these hours reflects a deep instinct to conserve energy, stay safe, and stay connected to one another. The gentle warmth of midday becomes a peaceful pause in their day-long rhythm. Eevee's connection to light, both sunlight and moonlight, symbolizes its deeper connection to the passage of time. It adapts to morning brightness with hope, to afternoon warmth with comfort, to dusk with reflection, and to night with calm awareness. This fluid adaptability reveals why Eevee is so deeply loved across every region. It represents life's ability to change gracefully, to grow in different directions, and to find meaning in every environment. And as the day continues, Eevee steps forward with gentle curiosity, ready to explore the world with the same open heart it carries through every moment. A heart full of potential, softness, resilience, and steady companionship. As midday settles into the world and the sun reaches its highest point, the light becomes warm and steady, casting long, soft shadows that sway gently with each passing breeze. Eevee moves through this brightness with a kind of peaceful confidence, its fur glowing warmly as it explores at a relaxed pace. There's a laziness to the air during these hours, a sense that the world is pausing to breathe, and Eevee seems to feel that shift deeply. Its movements become slower, more thoughtful, as if it wants to savor each moment touched by sunlight. When Eevee walks alongside its trainer during midday, it keeps an even rhythm, paws landing lightly on the ground while its tail sways in small, deliberate motions. If the trainer stops to rest, Eevee responds instantly, circling in one or two small loops before settling beside them. It sits close enough to touch, leaning into their side with soft, warm pressure. This closeness is one of Eevee's quiet ways of communicating, not asking for attention, but offering companionship simply by being there. Eevee shows a special kind of affection during these warm midday hours. If its trainer lies down in the grass to enjoy the sun, Eevee climbs onto their chest or curls into the dip of their arm, resting its head in a way that feels both trusting and protective. Its breathing slows, and its soft fur carries just enough warmth to blend seamlessly with the heat of the day. These moments create a deep, comforting bond, the kind that doesn't need words or movement to feel meaningful. Wild Eevee experience midday in similar ways. They often rest together beneath trees, forming clusters of soft fur pressed into the cool dirt or nestled under low-hanging branches. Some will nap, others will groom their companions, smoothing tufts of fur with quiet care. These communal behaviors reinforce emotional security, reminding each Eevee that it is safe, supported, and part of something larger than itself. Even the slightest sound, a fluttering leaf, or distant footsteps, is enough to make their ears twitch. But their bodies remain relaxed, trusting the safety of the group. Each evolution reflects midday in unique ways. Vaporeon tends to become incredibly serene during these hours, lying halfway in the water with its tail lazily drifting behind it. The sunlight dances across its watery form, creating mesmerizing patterns that shift with each ripple. Vaporeon sometimes dips its head underwater to blow small, playful bubbles that rise and pop in soft, rhythmic bursts. These gentle motions make Vaporeon look like a creature made of pure calm, a reflection of how deeply Eevee's gentle heart transforms when it becomes fluid and free. Jolteon reacts to midday energy with bright alertness. Its spikes gleam with light, and it often stretches with sharp, quick motions that send tiny sparks rippling through its fur. Yet despite its speed and intensity, Jolteon rests during midday more often than many expect. It lies in shaded areas with its paws tucked beneath its chest, watching the world with bright, attentive eyes. Jolteon's midday stillness doesn't feel tired. It feels poised, like a lightning bolt waiting patiently for the right moment to move. Flareon, basking in the warmth, becomes the very embodiment of comfort. The sun amplifies its natural heat, but Flareon adjusts it instinctively to remain soothing rather than overwhelming. Trainers often sit beside Flareon on warm days, finding comfort in the gentle heat it radiates. When Flareon relaxes, it puffs its fluffy tail into a soft cloud that wraps partially around its body. This cozy, fiery heart is a perfect extension of Eevee's emotional warmth, protective, loyal, and full of quiet devotion. Espeon absorbs the brightness of the sun with elegance, becoming more focused and intuitive as midday continues. It often sits upright, tail curled neatly around its paws, eyes half closed, as if listening to some invisible thread in the atmosphere. Its jewel glows faintly, mirroring the light overhead. Trainers sometimes feel calmer simply by sitting near Espeon during these hours, as though its steady psychic presence helps clear mental fog and bring emotional clarity. This evolution captures the mindful side of Eevee, the part that listens deeply, understands fully, and responds with grace. Umbreon, though more aligned with the night, carries itself with quiet composure even under the sun. During midday, it prefers cool, shaded spaces where light filters through gently. Its golden rings dim slightly in the brightness, but they never lose their calming presence. Umbreon often sits close to its trainer during these hours, maintaining a silent watchfulness. Its calm energy feels grounding, offering stability even when daylight feels too bright or overwhelming. This protective nature traces back to Eevee's deepest instincts to stay close, stay aware, and stay connected. Leafeon flourishes in midday sunlight. Its leafy fur absorbs solar energy readily, causing its entire body to seem more vibrant. The scent it releases becomes richer and fresher, blending notes of soft grass and warm earth. Leafeon often stretches luxuriously in wide, open fields during midday, letting the sun energize it fully. Trainers feel refreshed simply by walking beside it, as if the air around Leafeon becomes lighter, clearer, and easier to breathe. This evolution reflects Eevee's nurturing core, the part that restores, comforts, and lives in harmony with the world. Glaceon provides the perfect balance to midday heat. Its presence cools the air subtly, creating a small pocket of refreshing chill around it. When the sun is strong, Glaceon's icy fur sparkles like frost illuminated by golden light. It walks with elegance through the brightness, each step quiet and precise. Trainers often rest their hands gently against Glaceon's cool fur during midday, finding relief from the warmth. This soothing contrast highlights Eevee's resilience, the ability to adapt and bring comfort no matter the environment. Sylveon's ribbons glow softly in midday light, their pastel colors appearing more vibrant. It walks with its trainer in gentle, graceful motions, often touching them lightly to maintain emotional connection. Sylveon senses subtle shifts in midday mood, a sigh, a thoughtful pause, a quiet moment of reflection, and responds with warm pulses that feel like emotional hugs. These gestures embody Eevee's deep capacity for love, showing how evolution enhances what is already beautiful within. Eevee itself experiences midday as a time of gentle exploration and quiet joy. It might rest in warm patches of grass, chasing small insects half-heartedly before lying down again. It might wander short distances, sniffing new scents or listening curiously to distant voices. Its behavior is unhurried, soft, and deeply peaceful. During these hours, Eevee feels like a living embodiment of calm possibility, content with where it is, yet always open to where it may go next. The bond between Eevee and its trainer becomes especially tender around midday. If the trainer sits down to eat or rest, Eevee often curls beside them, its tail brushing softly against their leg. It watches with half-lidded eyes as its trainer speaks or reads or simply enjoys the quiet. Even without interaction, being close is enough. Eevee thrives on connection, understanding that closeness doesn't always require activity. Sometimes it simply means sharing space with someone you trust. As midday begins its slow transition toward afternoon, Eevee lifts its head again, sensing the shifting light. The world takes on a new tone, shadows lengthen, breezes shift, sounds soften. Eevee responds to this change with renewed curiosity, ready to explore the next part of the day with the same gentle enthusiasm it carries through every moment. And as it rises to continue its journey, Eevee walks with a heart full of potential, ready to grow, adapt, and discover the quiet beauty hidden within even the simplest hours of the day.